to all my learners, all my students. Yes. How are you all? Definitely good. And I wish the same, that you all remain in a good health and you all have the good spirits. Now, before I go ahead for today's session, I can clearly see Sada, yes, Shelly, Neha, Vivek, Adayan, all of you, a very good evening to all of you. Now, definitely, my next course is going to start. This is an announcement for all my Plus learners who are already there. Today's session, I thought of, taking something on the speaking, as I believe that there are certain things that my students should know. Yes, Sada, how are you, Adayan, Neha, the rest others, Shelly, how are you? How's the feeling of attending the YouTube session after a kind of I think a break of 2-3 days, or 1 week after my last session? Okay, so there are certain ways through which class you should try not to do that in your IELTS speaking. Just try not to annoy your IELTS examiner, because in IELTS speaking you might feel that you have spoken a very good English or you have given a reply in a very good way, but to be honest with you, that sometimes you can lack there. It could be the wrong thing. So what is that? Let's go ahead and find out. Now, first of all, before I go ahead, one thing you all have to keep in your mind is that don't forget that there are certain things where you just want to feel that maybe this is the best thing, this is a good thing. Yeah, so I'm just connected back. I was just trying to switch to a different network. So before I go ahead, class, now, in case those who are new learners, right, those who are there on the YouTube platform, for them they can use the code Shruti Live, right, to get the 10% discount. But this code is only for the serious and the genuine learners. In my class, in my Plus sessions, in my Plus courses, we do a thorough training of all the reading, writing, listening, speaking, all the modules, but it's specifically for the people who are actually ready to put their hard work, ready to actually show their determination and courage. And anyway, the fact is that all the Plus learners are there here, right? Yuvraj, very good afternoon. I mean, the only thing that you all have to keep in your mind is that this is a course, this is a platform where only the one who are serious, where those are the one who feel that hard work is the key to success, they are only welcome. Okay, let me quickly take you through the 3 ways to not annoy your IELTS examiner in speaking. What are they? So kind of there are few speaking errors so many students make. Very, common errors that people make. So let's discuss those common speaking mistakes and why you should avoid them. Then of course I'll give you tips on how to do this thing, and there are certain ways through which you can improve class. If you have done some sort of mistake in your IELTS speaking, then first of all don't do that. Secondly, there are certain ways through which you can improve. Now, get the band you need. It's not just a line. Everybody knows in my class it's an emotion, right? I have attached this emotion. I have attached my emotions with this line. So I want all of you to understand that get the band you need is only possible if you really follow the tips that have been given to all of you. Now, the first thing is that, in my opinion, the first common error is using the phrase in my opinion. Class, जब आपको fact state करना है, when you are speaking a fact and you are saying in my opinion, this is a very big error. Don't do these kind of errors. No, it is not justified. In my opinion, there are trees outside the window. What do you mean by that there are trees outside the window? Is it really going to make any sense that there are trees outside the window? No. There are trees outside the window. That is a fact. You can see that. I can see that. How come it is justified in your opinion? That's a kind of an area which is often neglected by many students. They just believe that if I am not getting anything, let's take the help of this filler. एक फिलर की हेल्प ले लेते हैं, एक काइंड ऑफ ऐसा फ्रेज यूज करते हैं कि अभी माइंड में कुछ आ नहीं रहा है, तो लेट मी यूज दिस फ्रेज. नो क्लास, दिस इज रॉन्ग. Don't say in my opinion when you are justifying a fact. That's very wrong. Second thing, the question that will come to your mind is that how can you know if a statement is an opinion or a fact? So for some students it's easier to find out which is an opinion, which is a fact. But can someone have an opposing opinion? Could someone disagree with me? Yes, for sure, it's possible. If the answer to those two questions is no, the fact is that let's assume there are certain tough sentences. कुछ ऐसे tough sentences होते हैं class जहां पे you are unable to identify whether it's a fact or it's an opinion, right? तो आप लोग दो क्वेश्चन अपने आप से पूछेंगे. वो दो क्वेश्चन क्या होंगे? What are these questions? The question you are going to ask yourself is, can someone have an opposing opinion? क्या जो मैंने बोला है, right? क्या किसी और का कुछ against में opinion है, मेरे opinion के against है? Or is there someone who's disagreeing with me? कोई ऐसा कोई है? The one who's disagreeing with me, मुझसे कोई disagree कर रहा है. अगर इन दोनों question के answer no आते हैं, तो it's not an opinion, right? Now the next question that will come to your mind is that basically, ma'am, I know now there are some students who are at a higher level. They know that what is a fact, what is an opinion. Agree. Step number one done. Problem number one solved. You all are, let's assume you all are aware what is a fact, what is an opinion. So the next point that you have to think is that how to express my opinion. Let's assume that no ma'am, I am clear that what is my opinion, what is my fact. I know that my definition for opinion and fact is clear. तो next step आता है class, then opinion express कैसे करना है, how you are going to express your opinion. Opinion आप express जो है, in my opinion, it's a very old and cliched statement, right? All of you, please listen to me very carefully. In my opinion, बहुत ही kind of a cliche, बहुत पुराना overused statement है class. Better है instead of saying in my opinion, अगर आप बोले my frank and honest opinion is that. My frank and honest opinion is that. So जैसे ही आप frank word use करोगे ना, as soon as you use the word frank, it's a good way to stand out. जो बाकी लोगों ने आंसर दिया, अभी तक आपसे पहले स्पीकिंग टेस्ट हुआ होगा, there must have been people who have come before you, and definitely there must have been people who are going to come in front of the examiner after you. So how are you going to stand out? So the only way to stand out is to use the word frank and honest. It's very less common class, very less common. So use the word frank. Second, it is my firm belief that. It is my firm belief. What do I mean by firm belief? Again, I'm expressing my opinion. It has got a wonderful grammar structure and a good vocabulary. So rather than using the plain, old and boring statement, in my opinion, आप stand out कैसे होगे with the from the rest of the crowd? Class कैसे बनोगे out of the mass? Right? Why you will get a higher band, 7 or 7+ band आपका क्यों आना चाहिए? आपने ऐसा क्या great speaking में बोला? Writing में? Obviously, I am taking the course. I am actually providing the course to my students where they can get 7 or 7+, even 8+ as well. बहुत detail में I am doing the writing course with my students. Here the plus learners are there. you all can contact these plus learners. My plus learners are already there in this session, right? Am I correct? All of you who are the plus learners here, you can actually, tell me your viewpoint. But for the speaking, if I talk about speaking, how are you going to be different? Are there any phrases? Yeah, very simple phrases that I am giving to all of you here. It's my firm belief that. Next, to my mind, or in my mind, I think India is expanding very fast, or India is expanding at a, exponentially. Then I am inclined to believe that. I am inclined to believe that we are a generation of techpreneurs, or we are a generation of, we are a generation that follows or that believes in the new ideas. Getting my point, all of you? So certain kind of phrases, or let me put it this way, new phrases that you all can use to express your ideas are, my honest and frank opinion is that. It is my firm belief that. To my mind, or in my mind, I believe that some XYZ is positive or negative, or I am inclined to believe that, right? So these are some new phrases. Now, certain red phrases that you should not use when you state facts. जब भी आप facts express करते हैं. Now, those who have joined late class, just now I have told all of you there is a difference between a fact and there is a difference between an opinion. Fact होता है, for example, sun rises in the east, ये fact है. You cannot deny it, right? Whereas opinion is something that is your own personal stand. If you say that you don't believe in the culture of fasting, or you don't believe that fasting is just kind of a ritual, you believe that fasting is good for health, or you don't believe, or you believe in something, that is your opinion class. So जब भी आप लोग facts state करते हैं, तो there is no need to say to be honest. Why you will be honest? Fact में honesty और dishonesty का, there is no point in being honest or dishonest. To be candid. Why you will say to be candid? What's the need to say this line? It's already a fact. Its veracity has already been verified, tested. There is no need for you to be honest or candid. Truthfully. Come on. Everybody knows the truth. How can you say truthfully when you are stating a fact? That's wrong. So to be honest, to be candid and truthfully. No. These lines, these phrases are kind of wrong when you use or when you state facts. Okay? Next. If the question is, अगर ये question class आपके पास आता है, do you work or are you a student? So don't say, to be honest, I am a nurse or I am a student when you are working, unless and until you are planning to give a philosophical answer that lifelong I am a student or I am a student throughout my life. Don't try to give these philosophical answers, because here this is a question based on your fact. People want to know about your facts. So don't try to give kind of answers which will sound very philosophical. To be honest, I am a nurse, or I am a student I believe I am a student throughout my life. Please agree your English is good, or the English that you have just spoken is good, but it is not contextually making any sense. So there is no reason you wouldn't be honest about that. So this phrase is completely, it's not a fit here. Next, rather than saying these things, what you are going to say? So now you can ask me question class that, ma'am, you have said no to these phrases truthfully, to be honest, right? Truthfully, to be honest, to be candid. So if I have said no to these phrases, then what you have to speak? If these are a pure no, then what is actually a yes? What comes under the green area? So if you need to buy a bit of time to think about the answer, you can't think of an answer immediately. You need to take some time, or you want to buy some time, so that you can think, you can introspect, or maybe you can come up with a very good answer. तो क्या करेंगे, क्या बोलेंगे? Well, in fact. In fact का मीनिंग क्या होता है क्लास? All of you who are present here, yes Pachu, very good evening. Yes are the correct fact that cannot be changed. Yes, can speaking frankly be used for opinion? Yeah, अभी मैंने वही समझाया ना gentlemen. Just now I explained the same thing. Now in fact का meaning क्या होता है class? Anybody know the meaning of in fact? In fact I suppose नहीं होता. In fact होता है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल कुछ आपने एक्सपेक्ट किया और अब जो आपके सामने सिचुएशन आई, दैट इज काइंड ऑफ एन ऑपोजिट. इट कुड बी टोटली ऑपोजिट, इट कुड बी स्लाइटली, बट मेजरली देयर इज अ काइंड ऑफ एन कॉन्ट्रास्ट. जब दो चीजों के बीच में कॉन्ट्रास्ट होता है क्लास, तो आप लोग बोलते हैं वेल इन फैक्ट आई थॉट दैट इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू रेन, राइट? But as soon as I stepped outside my house, it started raining heavily. Right? So you can use these lines to think. And these are called intelligent pauses. इनको बोलते हैं intelligent pauses, intelligent fillers. So I wouldn't call them fillers because they are not exactly fillers. They are kind of standard intelligent lines जिनको आप 2 मिनट माइंड में सोचने के लिए कि मुझे क्या बोलना है. Am I going to speak an opinion? और am I going to speak a fact? अगर opinion बोलना है तो definitely opinion वाली language आएगी जिसमें to be honest, truthfully, these words you are not going to cover. My frank and honest opinion is that, right? Or maybe the other lines that I have just given to you. But then अभी decide आप नहीं कर पा रहे हो इतनी जल्दी. Your mind, maybe you are nervous and you are unable to think whether it's a fact or an opinion. That's okay. Give yourself time. Think in your brain that well, in fact, or next. Then give the answer as a fact that out my window or out of my window, I can see or I see a bunch of trees. Then it's very simple. That outside the window के बाहर आपको bunch of trees, line of trees दिख रहे हैं. That is a plain fact. मुझे भी दिख रहे हैं, आपको भी दिख रहे हैं. Everybody can see that. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. So out my window or outside my window, I see a bunch of trees. Very simple and easy. Okay. So think in your brain, well, in fact, I can see or I see some banyan trees or some beautiful banyan trees outside the window. Wow. Immediately जितने टाइम में आपने बोला well in fact, you took the help of that particular time and then you thought in your brain that whatever I'm going to speak, it is going to be a statement, opinionated statement. It's going to be an opinion. No, it's going to be a fact. So there is no need for me to use the word to be honest, truthfully, right? Let's go ahead. Wonderful. Then use the natural, native, informal fillers that will help you break past that 7. Class ये 7 के ऊपर कैसे marks आते हैं? I don't know, but there are a lot of classes that goes on here and there, right? But the fact is that are they actually preparing you for 7 plus? क्या course content ऐसे decided है that you can get 7 plus? But because here my plus learners are there, right? Because when I teach with the point that all my learners should get above 7 or at least 7 plus. And trust me, it's not that easy. You have to really work very hard for a specific period of time. It's not, you are not going to get that 7 plus in just a, maybe a blink of an eye or hardly in kind of, just overnight or within a just few weeks of preparation. You're not gonna get that. Now, use some idioms. Rather than using the plain statements, use some idiom. let me picture this in my mind's eye. मेरी mind की eyes में मुझे picture करने दीजिए आप. Let me just picture this in my mind's eye. Wow, wonderful. Right? This is a good phrase to use for any answer class. Whatever answer, जो भी answer आपको IELTS speaking examiner के सामने visualize करना है, that you want to visualize ना, so tell her that let me just visualize this in my mind. So अगर question आता है what was your hometown like, आपका hometown कैसा था और कैसा है, so you can say I can picture it in my mind's eye. Mind's eye होता है मन की आंखें. So I can picture that in my mind's eye. So there were many trees, there was a river, then there were kind of mountains, whatever you want to say, then obviously your answer follows. But then that's a very good idiom if you speak in front of the examiner so that you can, stand from the rest of the crowd. You can be a class. You won't be a mass anymore. I hope all of you knows the difference between mass and class. Mass होती है भीड़, class होती है sophisticated लोग. ओके, सो ये मास में से सेपरेट होके क्लास में कैसे आते हैं? ऐसे नहीं आते हैं. बहुत मेहनत लगती है, डे एंड नाइट के डेडिकेटेड एफर्ट्स जाते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा लाइफ का टाइम जाता है, तो ये मास में से निकल के हम क्लास में आते हैं. जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस फॉर्मूला, दिस मंत्रा ऑफ श्रुति मैम्स, बी अ पार्ट ऑफ क्लास, नॉट बी अ पार्ट ऑफ मास. ओके, सो आई कैन पिक्चर इट इन माई माइंड्स आई. That's a wonderful idiom. Then just be aware of the idea of informal fillers. Native speakers use a lot of informal fillers like well, so, and like. So under any scenario, under any circumstances, let's say if you get struck and if you feel like I am unable to identify whether it's a statement, whether it's a fact, point number one. Point number two, even if you are able to identify whether it's a statement or a fact, but you cannot answer, what are you going to speak further? So better take some time and say, well, so rather than saying, these are not good words. जब आप अटक जाते हो and when you say this, these are really very bad. Rather than that, if you say, well, I believe, so I think, well, the other day, like it was, it happened when something. So the fact is that if you use these fillers, native speaker use these fillers to take intelligent pauses. Yeah, everyone use fillers when they speak. It's not like that only we take the help of fillers. Everyone take the help of fillers because this is how you cope up with spontaneous communication. By the way, spontaneous communication क्या होता है? Spontaneous communication होता है on the spot, जब आप बोलते हो बिना preparation के, right? In the sense, somebody gives you some random topic and you're asked to speak about it, right? Next, these are appropriate in IELTS speaking part 1, part 2. But what about the part 3 class? Part 1, part 2 तो चलो ठीक है. You took the help of fillers, you took the help of a lot of phrases. What about part 3? Because part 3 tests your critical thinking skills. It really is a test where all your knowledge comes into picture. वहाँ क्या करेंगे? वहाँ कैसे बचेंगे? Let's go ahead. So yeah, you could use them in kind of part 3 as well, right? Some informal fillers, but there are some others as well. Class, for the part 3, there is an altogether different set of fillers as well that you should use. It's not you could, you should. So when you introduce your answer in task 3, जब task 3 में आप लोग answers देते हो, so you could say that very clearly, oh, that's a tough one. I have never thought about that before. I mean, that is something I have to ponder upon. That is something I have never thought about earlier. That is something that is quite challenging. That's really a difficult one. I need some time to, think about it. That's okay. You can buy some time to think. And then you can go ahead so that you can show the examiner that all your energy, all your mindset is focused on giving the answer. Or you can also say that, I mean, I can visualize that in my mind's eye. Or give me some time to visualize in my mind's eye. You can say that. That's very good. Now, then between your ideas, use words. Now, for example, when you started giving the answer for task 3, in the beginning you said, oh, that's a tough one. I have never thought about that before. Let me just paint in my mind's eye. आपने ये बोला, and after that you started your answer. Answer के बीच में you are getting stuck. आप अटक रहे हैं. That's okay. तो बीच में fillers use कर लो. I guess, I suppose, I would imagine that, basically, or actually. तो basically पे I can see that gentleman Pacho has asked the question, ma'am, when we use basically in sentence, what is the meaning of it? Basically का क्या meaning होता है? So the fact is that class, everybody listen to me. Basically का क्या meaning होता है? Basically का मतलब होता है जब हम in short कोई चीज summarize करते हैं तो हम basically word use करते हैं. तो I don't know कितने लोगों ने आपको ये बात सिखाई है या नहीं सिखाई, right? बहुत सारे लोग बेसिकली वर्ड यूज करते हैं इन देयर डे टू डे लाइफ, बट आर यू एक्चुअली अवेयर ऑफ बेसिकली का मीनिंग होता क्या है? या इट इज लाइक दैट एवरीबडी इज यूजिंग इट, सो लेट मी जस्ट यूज इट. इज इट लाइक दैट? नो, that's absolutely wrong. You should know the meaning of each and every word that you are using. So basically is something when you summarize. For example, you went to the doctor and you sat with the doctor for, let's say, half an hour, 45 minutes, and you discussed a lot of things with the doctor. But when you came home, somebody at your home asked you, so what did the doctor say? So rather than telling everything, if you want to cut short your thing, right, so you can say, no, basically he said everything is okay, there is nothing to worry about. That is the meaning of basically, right? Everybody clear on this front? What is the meaning of basically? Yes, let's go ahead. Next, when you express appropriate emotion in your voice. क्लास, ये पहला तरीका जिससे आप अपने IELTS स्पीकिंग एग्जामिनर को अनॉय नहीं करेंगे, राइट? आपका जो IELTS स्पीकिंग एग्जामिनर है वो अनॉय क्या होता है? इरिटेट होते हैं एग्जामिनर्स, बिकॉज 15 मिनट्स के स्लॉट में दे गेट लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स. व्हाई डू यू थिंक द एग्जामिनर विल गिव यू 7 और इवन 7+? क्या? व्हाई? सो द फैक्ट इज दैट, पहली बात मैंने अभी बताई, खुशी यू हैव जॉइंड अ लिटिल लेट, बट पहली बात मैंने अभी बताई दैट फैक्ट की जगह पे फैक्ट दिया जाएगा, स्टेटमेंट की जगह ओपिनियन की जगह ओपिनियन दिया जाएगा, दोनों को क्लब नहीं किया जाएगा. ये कॉमन एरर होता है दैट अंडर स्ट्रेस, और मे बी इवन इफ यू आर नॉट अंडर स्ट्रेस, पीपल आर नॉट रियली अवेयर ऑफ, देन दे मिक्स. टू बी ऑनेस्ट, आई एम अ स्टूडेंट, दे स्पीक लाइक दिस, बट फिर कहीं एक ट्रांजिशन वर्ड यूज करना है, उसको मिक्स कर दिया unnecessarily. No, it will not going to make any sense. It will really sound very stupid. ये इससे आपके IELTS स्पीकिंग एग्जामिनर्स फॉर श्योर अनॉय होते हैं क्लास. सेकंड, आप लोग इमोशंस एक्सप्रेस नहीं करते वॉइस में. एक्सप्रेस इमोशंस इन योर वॉइस. यू नो, पूरा का पूरा आंसर सेम साउंड में कैसे हो सकता है? इंटोनेशन कहाँ है? आपसे अगर मैंने डेली टास्क पूछा, आपका वही मंडेन मोनोटोनस रूटीन पूछा, तो इट्स ओके, there is no need to emote, there is no need to show your emotions. But जब मैंने आपसे पूछा describe some exciting event, describe some exciting thing, तो emotions कहाँ है क्लास, और क्यों नहीं है emotions? That is the point. So second तरीके जिससे आप अपने IELTS एग्जामिनर्स को annoy करते हैं, irritate करते हैं, या आपको मार्क्स नहीं मिलते, that is when you don't show emotions. प्रोनाउंसिएशन स्कोर ऑटोमेटिकली हाई चला जाएगा अगर आपका इंटोनेशन आपके कंटेंट से मैच करेगा. मैं ये नहीं कहती दैट गो एंड कॉल सेंटर का प्रोनाउंसिएशन चार्ट पढ़ो और वो करो. नो, ये कोई कॉल सेंटर ट्रेनिंग नहीं है. वी आर नॉट कॉल सेंटर एम्प्लॉइज, राइट? सो द फैक्ट इज दैट, फिर क्या, व्हाट इज द नेचुरल वे? द नेचुरल वे इज वर्क ऑन योर इंटोनेशन. इमोशंस दिखाओ अपने आप. जब इमोशंस दिखाओगे, intonation, pronunciation, will sit on its place. वो अपनी जगह proper fit हो जाएगा, वो अपनी जगह proper बैठ जाएगा. There is no need for you to work on it separately. There is a lot of other things as well. Writing is a very big task. It's an Achilles heel. So अगर आपसे मैंने पूछा है if you are describing a time, कभी जब आपने प्राइज जीता, तो please sound excited. The last time I won the prize when I was in school, and it was a time when I was really happy because I got that award from one of my favorite teacher. She believed in me and I was so happy to actually live up to her expectations. And that was a time when I was filled with joy. I really felt that I have done something great in my life. See, I am showing you emotions class. मैंने अपने इमोशंस आपको बता के दिखाए. समझ में आया everybody? Gentlemen, if this is the question, what is emotion? Don't, you better go and check that. What kind of question is this? What is emotion? Are you here to learn or are you here to ask these kind of questions? Yes, please be sensible when you are in my class. There are a lot of classes that are going on. If you don't want to sound sensible, go to other classes. Next. Now, when you tell a story, if something sad happened, or if something sad, or if something, it was a kind of happy moment, use a matching intonation. So, it was kind of a tough situation for me. I felt as if I am not going to, be the winner anymore. I have lost the, maybe the battle, or I have lost the dream of being the winner of the cricket team. So when I am showing you a kind of a, emotion which is sadness, I am actually showing you that through my tone. So your voice should sound like you are sad, even if you are talking, when you are talking about something sad. So वो आपके emotions में convey होना चाहिए. So let your voice go down, go up at the end. जब भी हम end करते हैं ना class, तो हमारी voice थोड़ी सी down जाती है. Native speakers ऐसे ही बात करते हैं. जब वो start करते हैं, तो voice up जाती है, and when they end, the voice goes down. Just make sure to follow that, right? Take brief pauses. आपको pauses लेने होते हैं. अगर किसी ने बोला है आपको कि pauses नहीं लेने होते, that's not good. You should take pauses. सामने वाले का interest बनाओ और intonation use करो. Intonation होता क्या है, आज मैंने समझाया. Intonation अलग से पढ़ने की there is no need. Just follow what I have said. If it is an emotional thing, or if the answer is associated or attached with your emotions, show a kind of a happy and a sad sound, right? Wait for it. It's also a great phrase. अगर कोई exciting चीज आपको बोलनी है तो एक बहुत अच्छा phrase होता है wait for it. It's also very exciting. Third चीज और third way class जिससे आप अपने IELTS examiner को annoy नहीं करोगे, यानी your IELTS examiner, speaking examiner will be happy with you. वो ये जो क्यू कार्ड्स होते हैं ना, क्यू कार्ड्स में ये प्लेन ओल्ड बोरिंग लाइन मत बोलो. Today I am going to tell you about a time I won a prize. Why? It's such a kind of a line. Native speakers ऐसे कभी बात नहीं करते. They never say this when they answer a question, when they tell a story. वो ऐसे नहीं बोलते आज मैं आपको ऐसी टाइम बताने जाने वाली हूँ या जाने वाला हूँ जब मैंने प्राइज जीता था. No, it is sounding so robotic. Rather than class, बहुत सारे IELTS teachers आपको encourage करेंगे या बोलेंगे ये लाइन बोलने के लिए, but it is a terrible advice. Please mark my words, it's a terrible advice, right? So बहुत सारे लोगों की बहुत सारी advice होती है. So definitely इंडिया में कोई किसी की advice भी follow कर लेता है, but if to all my learners I'm telling you it's a terrible advice, right? Examiners जो IELTS examiners होते हैं वो ये सेंटेंस बार बार सुनते हैं. आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू अबाउट, आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू अबाउट. डोंट से दिस लाइन. दिस रियली annoys IELTS examiners. So फिर question, the next question that will come to your mind is that then what should we use, what phrase can we use? So give some context. कुछ context दो, back it up, provide some background details. Now the next question is how. You could start by using a phrase like, let me just backtrack a little bit. मुझे थोड़ा सा rewind करने दीजिए. Let me just backtrack a little bit. Then last month. Then start करो क्या हुआ. Last month I went to my cousin's birthday party and something happened XYZ. Right? Let me just backtrack a little bit. क्योंकि past की अगर कोई बात पूछी है तो obviously backtrack करेंगे. अगर कोई फ्यूचर की इमेजिनेशन सिनेरियो तो ऑब्वियसली कंडीशनल्स आएंगे, सेकंड थर्ड कंडीशनल्स विल कम, बट यू वोंट से लेट मी बैक ट्रैक अ लिटिल बिट, राइट? तो बैक ट्रैक अ लिटिल बिट आएगा और उसके बाद यू विल पुट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ बैकग्राउंड स्टोरी. फिर क्या हुआ? एक्चुअली ये तब स्टार्ट हुआ, इट ऑल स्टार्टेड व्हेन आई वाज इन बॉस्टन. I kind of developed a liking for this particular city. You spoke like this and then story continue करो. The most exciting thing that happened, last summer was, when I was about to, learn swimming, or when I was, a novice or a novice in the swimming area or in the swimming, then I decided to jump, and it all really went in a kind of a very embarrassing situation for me. So that was an embarrassing situation I think I have ever faced in my life. See, I am showing you emotions as well, class, and I am speaking simultaneously, and I didn't use a standard overused line. Maybe the examiner asked me the exciting thing that happened last summer. I gave examiner the exciting thing last summer. So one of the best things you can do for, a good score in speaking task 2 is to tell a story. So let's find out definitely that how to sound natural and just like a native. So definitely how to sound natural is something when you speak English in very effortlessly. Natural sound करने का एक तरीका क्या होता है? What is the best way to speak English naturally, where emotions will flow, where your English will sound like as if you are speaking in a manner which your listeners want to hear again and again and again. When you're speaking, it's looking as if you're not putting any extra effort. So वो होता है class natural speaking. And this is the difference between a band 6 and a band 7. When you introduce your story, speak like a native speaker. Yeah, right? Don't just use phrases that you have read in a textbook. वो, पुराने overused phrases जो textbook में पढ़े, don't use them. If you do that anyway, even if you do that, you're not going to get more than 6. That's for sure. Use 3 phrases to introduce your story for a better score. Just 3 are okay. Let me just backtrack a little bit, or the most exciting thing that happened to me last summer, or the most embarrassing thing, or some standard but only 3 or 4. That will really help you, right? So maybe what are those phrases that will get you a 7 or higher? What are those phrases, class, in the IELTS speaking task 2? Please listen to me. So this one time, this is hilarious. Well, this one time it was hilarious. Hilarious क्या होता है? What is the meaning of hilarious, class? It means funny. So, this was one time it was very hilarious. I was walking on the road and there was a banana peel and I slipped on that in front of everyone, and all the kids who were nearby, they started laughing on me, or they started laughing at me. So this was actually hilarious. And आप लोग सब, you can look at the emotions at which I am speaking. I am speaking spontaneously in front of you. आप सबके सामने मैं spontaneously बोल रही हूँ. And you can look at that I am actually putting or showing my emotions. Right? Everybody got the point? What am I doing? So पहला phrase आप लोग ये use कर सकते हो. So this one time, this is really hilarious. अगर पूछा जाता है कोई funny time, और अगर पूछा जाता है any time that you felt a little scared, so you can say this is super scary. I saw some, horror movie, and on that day I was all alone in my house and I really felt scared. Right? So this is super scary. Agar they ask you about some scary time, So you can talk about this standard phrase super. Super class एक ऐसा word है, all of you listen to me who are present in my class. Super एक ऐसा word होता है that is kind of an adjective जिसको नेटिव स्पीकर्स बहुत ज्यादा यूज करते हैं. दिस इज अ सुपर नाइस सेल फोन, दिस इज अ सुपर नाइस हाउस, दिस इज अ सुपर नाइस वॉच. So similarly you can say that this is super scary. Then एक और phrase that you could use, oh this topic immediately brought to mind this memory from the past. आपके इस topic से ना मुझे past की एक memory याद आ गई. This topic immediately brought to mind this memory from the past. Or just to sound natural you can say there is an experience that I had that is still so vivid in my mind. पता है एक ऐसा experience था जो अभी भी kind of मेरे mind में ताजा है. There is there is an experience that I had that is still so vivid in my mind. Wow, these are actually 7+ kind of phrases class. Use them in your IELTS speaking and for sure you're not going to annoy your IELTS examiner. Rather, she'll be happy to give you marks, loads of marks and a kind of a high band. Okay, so just avoid these 3 mistakes. It can actually dramatically affect your score. Just to summarize, only use phrases like in my opinion. If you are stating something, agar wo opinion hai, then only say in my opinion. But in my opinion again I don't recommend. जो मैंने सिखाया है आपको काइंड ऑफ जो मैंने फ्रेजेस दिए हैं इस प्रेजेंटेशन के स्टार्टिंग में वो आप लोग ओपिनियन के लिए यूज करेंगे. नेक्स्ट, एप्रोप्रिएट प्रोनाउंसिएशन होना चाहिए एंड यू एक्सप्रेस इमोशंस इन योर वॉइस. थर्ड, speaking task 2 may use a lot of interesting phrases. Just now there are a few phrases that I told you. Definitely when I take the speaking I will do these more so that आप जरूरी नहीं है IELTS एग्जाम में या स्पीकिंग में when you talk to anyone even later on you should know what is the best way to speak English effortlessly. Okay, fine class. Before I take your leave, please take notes of these phrases in your vocabulary notebook. आप लोग एक notebook बना लो and जो भी मैंने यहाँ पे पढ़ाया है even plus में पढ़ाया है उनके एक notes लेना शुरू कर दो because this will not only help you in IELTS but in your real life as well. So start making notes of all my sessions here on YouTube as well as on Plus. Practice them when you speak loud like Sadaf shared, ma'am. Whatever you teach me, I practice that. Similarly, Neha, Khushi, Pachu, Adayan and the rest others who are present, do that. The more you practice, the more naturally you will be able to use them. जितना natural sound करोगे उतने ज़्यादा marks मिलेंगे आपको speaking में, right? At the end of the day, I always say just feel free to ask any kind of questions. वैसे अब मेरे पास questions बहुत सारे आप लोगों के आते भी हैं, but don't worry, feel free to ask them. Fine. Okay, class. All the best. Just make sure you do the best things in your life. Keep revising. Revision चल रहा है. खुशी, सदफ, युवराज, no, yeah. All those who are present, okay, wonderful. Neha, Khushi, Sadaf, okay, everybody, the rest others who are also present, I'll take your leave, right? All the best, class.